How about somebody else do the intro?
All right. Well, okay, I'll just make something up. I'll do it. You want to do it, Rebecca? Go ahead.
So much pressure.
You want me to do it?
No. Yes. No. Maybe. Yes. You do it.
Okay, this won't be the same thing Michael says, but I'll just kind of wing it, okay?
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Wait a minute. You're not supposed to talk when I'm... Are we ready? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reclaimed Audio, the podcast about reclaim... No, wait, what the flip? That's the wrong podcast. I didn't do that on purpose. I just lost my mind.
I thought you were doing it on purpose.
No. We got to stop talking about other podcasts before our show. Oh, my God.
Michael, don't edit that out.
Michael, you did. Okay.
Yeah, intro's done. That's what it is.
Okay. Here we go. No, because they'll probably sue us. We'll hear from their attorney. Okay, here we go. Ready? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of You Made That, the podcast about makers, making, and the things we make. Our hosts today are Mike DeLalter, Rebecca DeGroot, and Bob Blanford. How's everybody doing?
That was great until I found out I was on the wrong podcast.
Oh, my gosh. I tell you, we have got to start recording the pre-show and making that available to people because if you guys enjoy laughing at the silliness that goes on during the show, you would not believe what happens before and after.
Oh, you're assuming they're not already going to be laughing at the silliness from today.
Oh, my gosh. It's just some days, you get your mind set on one thing, and it's, you stay on that rail line, just straight down the line. So, and that's Bob, all right? I have one track mind.
Yeah, the nice thing about being the person that edits the podcast, I get to decide what ends up on the cutting room floor.
Well, that's true.
You have all the power.
I cannot believe.
Oh, God, don't make me do the He-Man yell. I have the power.
What's everybody watching on?
Oh.
I thought I was supposed to lead the podcast today, but you go ahead, Michael.
Well, this is the timeless one, so we do what we're watching, not what we're working on.
Perfect. I love it.
So, go ahead. Ask us what we're watching.
Rebecca, tell me what you've been watching.
Well, I've taken a detour from Dexter, and now I'm watching Shameless, just because I needed a different type of terrible to watch and latch onto for a little while. And if you haven't, have you guys seen Shameless?
No, I have not.
Oh my goodness. Season 10 just came out, and it's this family on the south side of Chicago, and their life is just a mess. It is an absolute mess, and it honestly, it makes you feel really good about where you are in your own life at any given point, even during the pandemic. It's just like, oh gosh, I don't think I've ever screwed up that bad, but it's another one of those train wrecks. You just have to watch it and you have to see it through, and it's just, oh my goodness. So I was catching up, and then season 10 came out, and I was like, okay, well, I'll catch up a little bit more, and I've just been binging it and watching it throughout the day while I walk around the house doing other things. And I know I'm going to get back to Dexter in probably the next day or so, but it is just, it's good because it's so bad. And the acting is good. Like, you really connect to these people, and you feel for them, and you're just like, oh my gosh, why are you doing these things? But, oh my goodness. That, and I've been watching The Tiny Kitchen. Have you guys ever seen that on Instagram?
No, I have not.
No.
Oh my gosh. You've got to look up The Tiny Kitchen. It's this person, I don't know who it is. I'm sure other people that are listening probably know who the name of the person is, but they've got these tiny little skillets and a tiny little stove and tiny little miniature ingredients, and they just make a tiny little meal. And it's so small, maybe on a dinner plate like an inch across, and they just make the entire meal on this tiny little stove or in a tiny little oven. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I would never survive.
You've got to watch it. Just the amount of work that goes into this, and they've just got these little tiny knives, and they're just like chopping this miniature onion and like sautéing ground beef in this tiny little pan, and they've got just like a little tea light candle underneath the stove to actually cook it real time. And it's just, what is going on? It's awesome. It's amazing. And the set that they have for this tiny kitchen is incredible. Like, just the amount of detail that goes into these things. It's amazing. So on my off time, I've also been watching Tiny Kitchen.
That seems like
amazing.
A lot of work. A lot of work for
Right?
you. I don't know about you, Michael, but I'm thinking Arby's.
Well, I was just going to give a piece of advice of never put a tiny meal in front of a fat man. Ew.
I second that. I'd never make it.
But that's what I've been watching.
All right. Well, Michael, what have you got on your viewing list?
Well, I have finally caught up to the final season of Supernatural, and I've been splitting time between that and watching The Strain on FX.
The what?
The Strain. It's
The Strain?
Yes, it's a vampire show.
Oh.
It was a series of 3 novels written by Guillermo del Toro, the person who brought you Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah.
And excellent books, excellent novels, and whoever they have producing and directing this has stayed extremely true to the story. I've been very impressed so far. And if you're into horror, hint, 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 you'll like it.
Okay. And what else you got going on, Michael? Is that pretty much it for you right now?
That's pretty much it. I was going to try and get out into the shop tonight and work on something. Then I realized, oh no, I've got to record this show.
I know that darn podcast just gets in the way of all your fun,
terrible.
doesn't it?
It's terrible.
My goodness.
The things that I give up for YouTube, I'll tell you.
Oh, you're such a saint. Such
I know.
a saint. Saint Michael.
I'm going to break my arm, pat myself on the back here.
Well,
What about you, Bob?
I've had quite a few things on the old viewing list, pretty much most of them on the phone or computer, because I haven't really watched anything on TV, but I've been watching some videos on turning TrueStone blanks. I've got a TrueStone blank to turn, and a couple of my viewers said that they were real devils to turn, so I wanted to be as prepared as I could. What I'm finding is it just really depends on the material. I guess they're about 85% the actual material and about 15% like a bonding agent or whatever to kind of keep it all together. So some are harder than others. The one I have, I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me in a minute, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be one of the bad ones to turn. So, and I'm happier that I watched the videos because I'm more comfortable now. And I watched a really good video. It just popped up in my feed the other day. And Etiene, Morin, Woodworking, Etiene, I believe it is. I put it in the show notes. It was called Mental Disorder. And what this guy did is he literally, he got a care package from Starbond, right? So he dumps out all of his cutoffs and he begins just Starbond gluing them together. And then he starts turning it, rough turning it, right? Well, then he kind of gets it to a rough shape, and then he fills it with a milliput, black milliput on the outside, and then he cleans it up a little bit. Then on the inside, he uses kind of a tan milliput, and basically finishes the bowl. He cleans it up, puts a little OB shine juice on it, and it actually turns out to be a really cool looking bowl. And he totally emptied his scrap bin, which I thought was a cool idea. At first I was like, oh my God, because there was pieces sticking out everywhere. And I thought, this is going to be dangerous. This poor guy, this is going to be insane. And I was looking for the slow motion shot of the thing blowing apart. But he handled it really well, did a great job, and turned out beautiful. And then more of the same. I've been watching a fellow by the name of Ronald Finger, and he pulled a Fiero out of a field, an old, I want to say 83, I don't remember. And he is not a car guy, but he has been rebuilding this car and learning along the way. And it's just really interesting to see someone who, you watch a lot of guys who are almost professional mechanics, and I don't really care to watch those. I like to watch people like me who are learning while they, well, yeah, I mean, I know a little bit, but not a lot. And I'm sure he knew a little bit, but not a lot. But he's really persevering, and his videos are super interesting. And I just watched installment 10 of the Fiero build. And then I just watched another installment of Dylan McCool, man, one of my favorites, 73 Challenger, pulled out of a field, and he's been putting it back together. And I am addicted to these car videos. And if I can ever slip one in without Mama noticing, I'm going to have to get me an old car. It's been a long time since I've done any wrenching, but I'm getting the bug bad.
Ooh. What car do you think you would want to work on?
I would like to have a Maverick. Anywhere from 71 to 77. The 1 and 2 are nice. I had a 4 originally years ago. I'd really like to have a 4, but 74. But I would take any of the models along that model range there. 7-year slide.
Nice.
And I like it because I had one. Number 1, number 2. It's a smaller car, so I could easily fit it into my garage if I just shoved all the woodworking tools to the back and ignored woodworking for a while.
Good luck with that.
Well, hey, I actually went and looked at one the other day, but it just it's kind of funny. People think they have gold when they have an old car. And I went and looked at the car, and the body was in fair shape. I magnet tested it before the guy got there. I got there early, looked at the car, and I ran magnets all on the quarter panels and everything. And the body was in decent shape. The interior was in decent shape. But I crawled up under the car, and the frame of the car will have holes in it. And those holes were tore, where somebody had literally hooked a logging chain to it and drug this thing out of a field. And then the entire frame was literally so rusted, I could take a screwdriver, which he doesn't know I did this, and literally poke through the frame at places, right? So I talked to the guy, I test drove the car, and I come back, and he's like, "What'd you think?" And I said, "Well, I said, it's very rough. It needs a lot of work." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, I could let you have it for 10 grand. And I said, "Buddy," I said, "I'm going to be honest with you." I said, I know a little bit about cars, and I know that this car is not worth 10 grand. He goes, "Would you do it for 6?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'd give you 2 for it, and that's bottom line." He goes, "Oh, I can't do it. I got more than that in it." I said, "Well, thanks for letting me look at it." And I walked away, but it was I would have been taken at 2 grand, but I would have done it at 2, but it needed a lot of work. And
So
once
now
again,
we know-
I'm off on a tangent.
Now we know Bob's threshold for a price.
Exactly. If anybody has a nice 74 Maverick for 2 grand, let me know. If it's a grabber, I'll go to 2,500. So, well, that's pretty much it for what we're watching. Anybody else want to talk about any other wonderful tangents that are going on, like maybe secret packages that came into the shop or anything like that? Or can we talk about those?
Maybe not this time.
Okay, well, I tell you what, Rebecca, don't we have a wonderful sponsor that we are so proud to have be part of the show? Would you like to speak about them real quick before we move into the topic?
You know what? We do. And I made a piece just recently that I made only because I had recently taught at Bull Valley Hardwood, and I did the little pop boxes, right? Little lidded boxes. And I was so just enjoying that process of making those boxes that I was like, well, I never got to finish mine, and I like boxes. They're nice, they're simple. I've got it here for you guys to see and nobody else, because we don't record this for our viewing audience. Oh, nice. Making little boxes from wood. I also have the book. It's called 500 Wooden Boxes from the 500 series. I love those books. And so I decided to come home and make my own little box from a little piece of cherry that I had sitting on my bench. And it makes this nice squeak noise that,
Ooh, that is
absolutely freaks the dogs out. They think it's some sort of animal. So I've been squeaking it at them.
It's like a little chipmunk. It's like a little chipmunk.
It is. It's perfect. But what I did was I made the box a little bit thicker than I probably would have, the wall thickness anyways. It's still only about little under 1/4 of an inch thick at the thickest points. But I made it in a very simple form so that I could do some texturing on it. So what I'm going to be doing is using what our sponsors sell on their website, sabertooth.com, and going on there and putting little texture all over the body of this box, because it is a simple form, and I don't like, you guys know me, I don't like simple things. I like it to be complex, I like it to be unique, I like it to have just a little bit more than a cylindrical box with a fitted lid, even though it does drive my dogs crazy. That is one fun thing about it. So what I'm going to be doing is just putting the little textures all over the surface of this body, and then probably ended up dyeing it black, and then probably doing some dry brush all over it. But I'm really excited to be able to play with the different size spherical burrs that I've got, because I've got them in a bunch of different sizes, and I'm probably going to go with the whisper bit, which is the white one, but only after I go at it with the yellow one, which is the fine. But if you are interested in texturing your own boring boxes, go to sabertooth.com, use the coupon code YMT at checkout, and you could save yourself 10% off your entire online purchase, which could be really cool if you're getting started in carving. I personally use a flex shaft power carver, which ends up being a bit more powerful than like the handheld motorized carvers, but not everybody has those. But Sabertooth does have a variety of shank sizes, which will fit in most carving tools. And they're really nice, super reliable, carbide tools that like I've said in previous episodes, have you been using for maybe 4 years or so, probably more than that at this point. And they are still all running strong. So I'm going to be able to go on and play, and I'll probably be posting some pictures of the before box and then the after box on our Instagram page later on.
Can I ask you a question about your burrs from Sabertooth?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever get into a wood that kind of has a little bit of pitch in it and it sort of gums up and you have to clean them? If so, what do you use to clean them?
I don't usually have that problem.
Okay.
Just because the way that the spikes or the little teeth on the burrs are oriented, it pretty much clears itself.
Okay. Great.
So I haven't had that issue. The only issue I have had really with dealing with burrs getting clogged up is if I've dropped it in the dirt, which I have done on multiple occasions. And in those cases, I'll either just take it to a nice softwood where I can just clear it out just by carving into another softwood, or I'll take an air compressor to it and just blow it out, and it usually clears itself out pretty easily. I haven't had any issues with pitch or any sappy gummy wood coming into it. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, just off the top of my head, here's an idea for your box. Legs. Put legs on it.
What?
I was going to ask that.
Your box needs legs. You could
But I didn't make this box with the thought that I would have legs on it. I have a whole series of legged boxes and walking boxes. This is not supposed to be a walking box. It's already telling me it's not going to be.
I have an idea, though.
Oh, let's hear it, Michael.
Well, you could make like a support structure that the box fits in and attach your legs to that. And it could be like a disabled box.
It'd be like that movie, The Wild Wild West. Remember that, where he had that thing that he set in, and the mechanical thing that walked him around? Did you ever see that? Michael, you've seen that? Come on, Michael.
I have never seen the whole movie.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Well, it's not a great movie, but it was a good movie.
No. Hence I've never seen the whole thing.
I just had to throw... we got to have the gratuitous movie reference in just about every episode, right? I mean... Speaking of the gratuitous movie reference, when we had a while back, we did an episode where we talked about our favorite scary/horror movie, and I mentioned mine was Killdozer. I got a note from a guy the other day who told me that was also his favorite horror movie, and we got to kind of talking a little bit about Killdozer. So it was kind of neat to find another Killdozian out there, you know.
That's awesome.
You got to watch out for those guys. They end up stalking you.
Stalking you like celery.
Well, Rebecca, what have we got for a topic today?
Ooh, well, we have a follow-up on our listener questions because of the just absolute enthusiasm. Everybody wants their question asked. Some people don't really understand the prompt, and they give us some really weird comments in the comment section when I ask for listener questions. But we've got some good ones. And if I could get back to the page that I meant to be on. All right. Listener questions. And this is from the first request for listener question from Courtney Pitchford, who is my culinary arts teacher at our school. She's a good friend. Asks, what is your dream thing to make? And then a follow-up question, what drives you to experiment with woodworking? So there's a two-parter. We can do those in separate questions. So first one, what is your dream thing to make? Ooh. Now, I interpret this as what would you aspire to make? Not necessarily your favorite current thing to make, but what do you want to make? What would be like the thing that you are just absolutely so excited to be able to make in the future?
Limited to the materials we currently work with?
No, because this is dream thing. This is anything with everything, with all the tools and supplies and everything that you could possibly need. What would you want to make?
I would want to make a sword.
Ooh, that's cool.
Do all the forging, the smelting, all of it. Start with the raw materials, end with the sword.
That would be cool.
I love watching those Forged in Fire shows.
Yeah, that's
the skills those guys have just amaze me.
They are amazing. Those
Not to mention the fact that my daughter is a big D&D fan and loves swords, so I could give her one that I made.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, it would.
Now, are you going to be going with the Damascus steel?
Of course.
Oh, of course. Why would I even ask?
This is dream, right?
Yeah.
So money is no object.
Money is no object.
What about you, Bob?
Honestly, this is going to sound kind of like a cop-out almost, but I'd like to make a difference. Right, there are so many people who are trying to get into pin turning, and that's kind of what I'm attempting to do. And I think I've done that for a few people. But I'd like to be the gateway for people who want to learn turning, and I like being the go-to guy for that. Right, and when people think about turning pins and getting into turning pins, I want my name to be the RJBWoodTurner name to be synonymous with that. So. Maybe that sounds like a little bit of a cop-out, but that's really, I want to make a difference. I want to help people learn what I couldn't learn because things weren't available when I started turning.
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
Honestly, Michael, right here, and you guys cannot see this at home, but right here are my note cards with the chapters and all of the information about the book I wanted to write. And guess what? I put it on the back burner, and I don't think I will ever write it. So I started it, but I don't know that I'll finish it.
Well, never know. A producer, a publisher may be listening to this and might approach you now.
It's not about that. That's the easy part, right? I mean, these days you can ebook it, right? It's just, I don't know. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I got it all laid out. I got the index, not the index, the first part of a book that has all of the chapters listed. The
outline.
Outline, thank you. I got the outline, and then I started breaking it down to the sections. You see, this is why I'm not going to produce a book. And it got to a point where I went back and I started kind of reading back through some things. And I thought, this is not the direction I want to take this. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to be an author, right? I like being a content creator. To me, I can reach more people because how many people read nowadays versus how many people pick up the cell phone and, look up how to do something on YouTube or Reddit or one of those other, social platforms. So the amount of work going into it and the amount of work it was going to take to finish it just didn't seem like it was going to be worth putting into it. So it's sitting there, and maybe one day I'll change my mind. But for now, it's a far back burner.
Is it going to be an all text book?
It would have been text and photographs, right?
See, I'm okay reading if there's pictures.
Yeah, well, and but that is the thing. I talked with a guy who has written a couple of books, right? And he basically said, as sad as this is to say, they're dying. Books are a dying platform. There are a few people like me. Like I have my own library out in my garage because I love books. But nowadays, people can listen to audiobooks, and many people prefer that over the written word. And YouTube is crushing it, man. If you want to know how to do anything, it's out there, right?
Mm-hmm. Instructional books, though, those are still pretty good. People still like to page through instructional. Don't they?
A little bit. Yeah, but I can get that instruction on YouTube. If I'm standing outside over the hood of my car and I want to know how to replace something, I can Google it and watch a 3-minute video and boom, I'm done. Versus having to go find a book, flip to the chapter, read.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Thought. You publish a coffee table book with pictures of the finished projects and a QR code down in the corner. It says, if you want to learn how to make this, scan this code and watch the videos.
That's a great idea.
Potentially. Like I said, you haven't sold me yet because I already lost my interest. I found another shop squirrel, right? So I'm gone. We'll circle back around to it one of these days.
Well,
when you do, just don't forget. It was my idea, for the coffee table book. So
I might use that idea too, because that's a good idea. I got pictures of all the leggy things, all of the little critters, and then just, if you want to learn this, because I've got written plans on most of those things, and they are so ridiculously detailed that if you have the written plans, there's almost no point in me going and demonstrating the project, because you could just do it yourself just from the plans. It's stupid detailed. But yeah, I'd like to write a book filled with pictures.
Everything I've got is 50% detail. I have my shop book that I take all my notes in, and I start out really well at the beginning of the project, taking tons and tons of really detailed notes, measurements, and everything. And about midway through, I kind of drift off, and by the end of the project, I'll go back and look at it a week later. It's like, well, how did I finish that? What did I do? Because I'm bad about that, right? I think we all are.
Oh, I
So
get it.
I'll offer up my services as a proofreader for either of you. So,
Ooh, okay.
If I do write the book, I'm only going to publish it in one language, though. It's going to be all in Klingon. I can promise you. We're not going to do any other languages. So,
kapla!
I know I'm a sad excuse.
You ask what have I been doing and dreaming of making
Why,
in the future?
yes.
Yeah, well,
Why,
thank you. My dream project is just an idea at this point, but I would love to make something that Tim Burton wants in his home.
Ooh, now
That is I know it's a lofty dream, but eventually, if he doesn't die before this happens, he is going to discover my creepy stuff. And he's going to be like, I need that. And his wife is going to be like, we need that. You need to get that for me. And it's going to be amazing. And then I'll have my stuff in his home. And then I'll always be able to imagine that one of my pieces is just crawling around over there. And it's going to be a topic of conversation every time they have one of their creepy parties. It's going to be awesome.
Have you started tagging him in Instagram?
I have a couple times, and then every once in a while somebody else tags him on one of my posts. And I was like, oh my god, I wonder if he's going to see it. But I never see any likes from him. I never see him interacting in any way. So
I think a better way sometimes to get in touch with people like Tim Burton is Twitter. I think that works a little better than Instagram for some reason because it's directly interacting with the person. So I don't know if he's on Twitter. Perhaps he is. I don't know if you're on Twitter. But I actually have a Twitter account and I don't use it. But it is a great way to, because you're communicating directly with the person, right? Mm-hmm. Just throwing that out there because I think that's a wonderful goal and I would love to see that happen.
It would be so cool.
Yeah, and then you could invite Tim Burton to be on the podcast since he's a personal friend of yours and has his art in the house.
Yes.
your art in his house.
I'm sure he'd love that. All right, next part of that same question. What drives you
Sure.
to experiment with woodworking?
The experimental portion of woodworking, what drives me is just the fact that it's so boring to focus on one thing, but it's so cool to experiment with this. And then it's great to go over and work on the metal lathe. And then you jump over and work on the casting pot. And then you go back and make a blank. It's the fact that the drive of experimenting is the difference. You're constantly doing something different. You're not doing the same thing. And to me, that's the exciting, fun part. But that part really doesn't. It kind of interests your viewers, but sooner or later you gotta settle down and make something. You gotta have some content, right? And but yeah, that's what drives. That's just fun. It's the fun and the excitement of something new.
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree with you there with just the new experience and just the excitement of being able to try something new and play with a new process and do all those things. But another reason that I have to experiment is just because I have so many ideas for things that I want to make, and like the weird things and the challenges that come up. And for the longest time, they'll just float around in my head, just crawling around in there, making themselves like a little nice little nest up there. And then eventually they might come out onto paper. And then once they're out on paper, then I've got an even stronger desire to actually physically make the thing, because then I'll usually post the paper drawings that I make of those little guys up on the inside of my shop door. So every time I go back in the house, I see these pictures of these things that I want to make eventually. And it's just one of those things, like, it's a constant reminder that I want to do that thing, but I'm going to need to learn a new process to be able to do this. And that's kind of what drives my experimentation, is just the ideas of these, like, just so far out there things that I want to make, where it's something that nobody's ever done before. So it's one of those things, like, you have to kind of figure it out on your own, and you have to experiment to be able to make this thing, this idea, a reality. So, Michael?
Yeah, Michael.
It's just sitting here shaking my head along with you. Growing up, I was the kid that would always tear stuff apart to try and figure out how it worked. And I get to kind of scratch that same itch when I'm trying something new out in the woodworking shop. So it kind of flows along with what you were saying, Rebecca, is, you know, it's the chance to experiment and find out if something works or not. And if it doesn't, you learn from that, you move on, you try and find something different that does. So, short and sweet. Sorry.
Nope, that's a good answer. It's a good answer.
Yeah, no, it is. Did you guys also have, like, Lego bricks? Lego blocks?
Yeah.
Legos, Lincoln Logs,
Tinker Toys.
Tinker Toys, that's what I was thinking of.
That
Love
was
Tinker
the big
Toys.
one. The Legos didn't really, I don't know that we had Legos. A buddy of mine had them, but Legos, for me, with my age, Legos were coming in as I was hitting my late teenage years, getting close to driving, and once I got a license, stuff like that didn't matter to me until I got kids. Now that I have kids, we have a Lego room, right? So,
Nice.
yeah.
Erector sets, those were fun too.
I never had one of those. Never had one of those. But see, I had a dad who had a bunch of tools, and there was always scrap pieces of wood and nails and screws in the garage. So I would build things. You had grand ideas, and you would basically just nail 3 pieces together, and be nothing, right? But
look what I made, Dad.
yeah, but yeah, we used to go to garage sales and buy old radios for like $0.25, and then bring them home, and I could take them apart, and I had boxes full of resistors and transistors and tubes and everything else at one point. Just playing. Good times.
All right, so I have a would you rather question,
Okay.
if you'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't overtalk each other. Rebecca, you answer first, then I'll answer.
Okay.
Would you rather every shirt you ever wear be kind of itchy, or only be able to use one-ply toilet paper?
One-ply toilet paper. I cannot handle itchy shirts. all of the
toilet
tags,
paper, yeah.
all of the tags in my shirts, I have to rip them out immediately if it's not printed on already. If there's like a hair, and women have this problem, I think a lot more often than men, but if you get like a hair that falls down the back of your shirt and is just in the back there, that I cannot focus on anything until I get rid of that hair. There is no way that life will move forward until that hair is gone. Or if there is like a tag, like, I can't handle being itchy at all. At all. So, one-ply toilet paper, half-ply toilet paper, I don't care. No itchy shirts.
So you're going to deal with the breakthroughs for the rest of your life so that you don't have itchy shirts.
Yep. I will deal with it.
I think we missed the point of this question. Oh, thank God we don't record these episodes for YouTube. Well, I'm not. Since this is Would You Rather, I'm just going to give a single answer: one-ply toilet paper. If you want to ask why, feel free to have a follow-up question. But
I feel very strongly about itchy shirts.
Evidently.
I would also have to agree with the one-ply toilet paper because you can roll off enough to make it two-ply.
That's right.
That's right.
Just keep folding and folding and folding. You might go through a roll every time you sit down on the toilet, but it'd be worth it.
That's right.
Okay, now that we've gone down this rabbit hole, what's next? You have another one, Michael? Another one of those Would You Rathers? Or is that...
Would you rather have edible spaghetti hair that regrows every night or sweat maple syrup?
Does the hair have to have sauce on it?
No. Doesn't say.
Then I'll take the hair. Spaghetti hair.
Yeah, I don't like being sticky. I'll go with spaghetti hair, too.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one.
Although maple syrup, if it's true maple syrup, so good.
Yeah, but you don't like a shirt that's itchy. Imagine your shirt sticking to your body because you're sweating maple syrup, and then you're trying to pick it off. See, think about that.
Sticky and itchy.
Sticky and itchy.
Okay, nope. No, thank you.
Oh, this is bad.
All right, last one.
All right.
Would you rather 30 butterflies instantly appear from nowhere every time you sneeze, or one very angry squirrel appear from nowhere every time you cough?
Butterflies.
What? Yeah, butterflies.
Oh, no, I'd take the squirrel.
Why do you want an angry squirrel? Butterflies aren't vicious. They'll just be there.
It doesn't say he's vicious, just that he's angry.
Who's he angry at?
Don't know.
What did you do to that squirrel? Why is he so angry? You cut down his tree. How could you?
Well, I told you trees fear me.
Yeah. I'm taking the butterflies because I never met a rabid butterfly. Yeah.
Just because you haven't met one doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I know. All right. I've got just a fun one for you. Okay, Rebecca, you go first. Marvel, DC, or other?
Do I have to choose?
Yes. And there's a follow-up question.
I'm going to have to go with Marvel.
Michael, Marvel, DC,
Marvel.
or other? Marvel? I'm going with other. Okay, Rebecca, follow-up question. In the Marvel Universe, favorite superhero / villain? You can choose either. I'm not going to limit you.
Now you're putting me on the spot. Now I have to remember who's on what. Because
Who's on first? Who's on first?
Okay, give me a minute. Give me a minute to decide.
Okay, Michael, favorite superhero / villain in the Marvel Universe?
Deadpool.
Good choice.
That is a good choice.
Yeah, good choice.
He fulfills both hero and villain, and he breaks the fourth wall.
Okay, good choice.
And Ryan Reynolds does a perfect job portraying him in the movies.
I really liked him as the Green Lantern, though. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
That's wrong.
Okay, I've decided.
Okay, let's hear it.
Wait, did I have to give reasoning behind it, or just choose
You do
him?
not. You do not unless you want to. You may if you want to. Michael, get the word vomit sign ready.
I'm not going to. I really like Venom.
Oh, Venom, yes.
Venom's
Venom
good.
is very similar to Deadpool almost, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's
like,
kind of the...
He's
yeah.
bad, but he's also good, but he does really terrible things, but for good reason.
For good
Right?
reasons, yeah.
He's
yeah.
the alien Dexter.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Well, me, I love Marvel. I love DC. Well, I love Marvel. I love DC, sort of. I love Marvel more. But I chose other because my favorite all-time superhero, and I think I've told you guys this. Anybody want to guess real quick?
Hellboy?
I think we... No. Oh, well, it's the Tick. I love the
that's
Tick.
right.
I think the Tick is like an awesome superhero, right? He's the working man superhero. And I love him. I just think he's great. So, yeah. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. But
Nice. I paid
All right.
money a couple years ago when Comic Palooza, I think, was in town.
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet Stan Lee. I thought that
Ooh,
was
nice.
really cool. I got a signed poster of Spider-Man with a cool quote on it, signed by Stan Lee. I got to shake his hand. It's real cool.
That is
I kind of
awesome.
nerded out for a little while. I couldn't get a picture with him. I couldn't afford that, but I did get to shake his hand. I think that was a lot better.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Did he sign it with Excelsior?
No, he just signed his name.
Oh, you
I
probably
know.
have to pay extra for Excelsior.
Probably.
All right,
All right.
time for a real question.
Is this real question coming from me?
Yes, you're the only one
Okay.
with real questions.
Okay. Oh, real question. All right, let me scroll through my fake questions. Oh, this is a good one that I'm not sure how well either of you could answer this one, as I'm not sure how much carving you do. When is a turning no longer to be considered a turned item? This is from Greg Just. And he says, in my opinion, when more time is spent carving or sculpting, then it's not really a turned item anymore. So when is it that it crosses over from turned into not turned?
Why does it have to be not turned?
Yeah, I'm
Like,
thinking
you
the
can-
same thing.
That's kind of what I'm thinking
You
too.
can
'Cause
use multiple disciplines on a single piece, and
Mhm.
it can be a carving, it can be a
Yeah.
turned item.
Mm-hmm.
There
But can
are
you still see that there is a turning component in it?
Well,
open
I
up
think so.
this month's issue of AAW magazine
Mm-hmm.
in the readers section where they turn in pictures of their turnings. There's something in
members
there
gallery?
that looks, there's something in there that looks like a painting, and there's something in there that's turned, but to look at it, it's not evident.
Yeah, and I'm thinking back to Pat Carroll, one of the guests we had recently. The wonderful work he does, where he literally pierces and then burns to where it looks like rusted mesh, and he has to spend more time on the piercing and the burning than he did on the turning. But I would still consider that a turned piece. So
It can't be the finished item without the turning being involved.
I think exactly, but the thing is, I guess it depends on the artist. When they look at it, would he say this is a turning, or would he say this is a piercing, or would he say this is a pyrography piece, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess it's whatever the artist wants to make it, but I don't think you ever can take that away. Once it's been turned, that's part of its provenance. Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Very deep question. Wow.
Yeah, and it's a question that I kind of battle with a little bit too, because as part of the American Association of Woodturners, I put pieces into the exhibitions all the time, or at least I try to, and most of my work is not just turned. It's
Right.
turned and carved and shaped in other means, and it's like, is it really even turning anymore, even if there is just one turned component. Like the piece that we talked about, I think in the first episode, the black spider type piece strain, that one, the only part that's turned is the body. But then the top half of the body, or the top third of the body, is then carved beyond recognition of any turning that may have happened. And then none of the legs had any turning component. So it's really just the part of the body that hangs that still has that turned element to it that still remains. So is that still technically a turning? Yes. But it's also carved and sculpted and cut on a bandsaw. So I would consider it turned and sculpted. I wouldn't say that it is specifically a turning.
Yeah, and I would say if you went to the National Association of Carvers, their get together, just like the AAW, whatever that would be, you could present that as a carving. So I think it's however the artist is looking at it at the moment. Anytime you add a new component to the manufacture of a piece, I think that, like I said, it becomes part of the provenance, and it can be considered in that category if you're judging it. That's a great question, though. Thank you for that question. That was a great question.
And that one, I said, is from Greg Just. So,
all right.
I've got some more. Do we want some more?
Sure.
Yeah, I've got one when you get done. So ask a couple, then I'll ask one.
Oh, actually, if you've already got one ready, why don't you ask yours?
Well, this is one that is you guys know it's coming. It's kind of the question that I'm sort of making my signature question for all of our guests, and that is, if you laid down your turning tools tomorrow and swore never to turn again, what would you do?
Metalworking.
But you wouldn't be able to turn metal?
Not for what I want to do. It would be forging.
Yeah, I'd probably go into welding. I really enjoy welding. I still haven't opened up my welder. It's still sitting there. I've still got like 400 linear feet of bar and angle iron. But I would love to just weld things. If I could make a living off of it, and if it could be sculptural weldings, forget about it. I want to do that.
Have you actually
awesome.
welded?
I have. But
Okay.
it's been, I think it's been over 7 years since the last time I actually used a welder. But I've got everything I need. I can't even use the time as an excuse right now. I've got the welding smock, I've got the face thing, I've got all the gloves and the metal and the everything. I've got literally everything to start. I think I'm a little bit scared. I'm worried that, first of all, where am I going to do it? I guess I could do it in my driveway, but then what happens if the neighbor kids happen to walk by and they stare at the welding light, whatever it's called? Well, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to harm them. I'm not going to set up a giant screen in my driveway. It's also already ridiculously hot. So it's like, I've had problems too. I need to actually wear a ball cap because the amount of times that a little piece of the welding slag, I don't know, came up and like landed on the top of my head. Oh my gosh. It was the worst. It was like, and half of the time I wouldn't even know that it was happening until I smelled my own burning hair. And it was just, oh. And then of course I had that little frizzed section at the top of my head where there was parts of my hair burnt off. But the same thing happens when I did glass work. I did some lamp working when I was younger, and like I would get little bits of it that would come up and burn my hair every once in a while. And it was just, I'm used to it. I don't care really. It's just I don't feel like having that experience as much. So I don't know.
I think that's cool that you both chose welding. I honestly, Mike was the wild card. I wasn't sure what he would pick, but I really pegged you for carving. I thought you would have gone more of the carving route. But I think it's cool that you're thinking about going welding. And what is the name? You talked about sculptural welding, Michael. Up there in the Indianapolis Mall, what is the name of the artist that has all of those sculptural welded pieces up there? I can't remember his name.
That
Very
I don't
well-known
know.
artist. There's some gorgeous. I mean, they're huge sculptural weldings, but yeah, that's great. For me, I'll get back on target here. I'm getting off on a tangent, and I don't want to do that. But for me, I probably would lean more towards my intarsia work. Get back on the scroll saw and work more with the intarsia. Or the other thing I might do, I've been dying to learn this, is stained glass. I would love to do stained glass.
That's fun. I took a couple classes in stained glass, and my mom does it too, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a place here locally about 2 miles from my house that actually does classes on stained glass, how to make it, or how to, build the panels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the few things that I have locally anymore. I mean, there's no woodcraft or anything like that here, but we do have a stained glass window place. So
Nice.
okay, very good, thank you.
So I have a real question for the two of you. How do you get yourself out of a creative slump? That is the sigh of someone who knows.
I do, and I've struggled with this a lot, and every once in a while it happens, and it happens hard. And when it does, I need to find something to challenge me. So I either need to go and source out my own type of inspiration, which is usually some type of competition. So there's a couple competition websites that I'll look into. One of them is Cafe. It's Call Artists for Entry. And then that links to competitions and exhibits from all over the world and all over the country. And that's one way to do it. Also, just posting on social media. I might go on Instagram or Facebook and just be like, what is everybody doing? Just kind of put a post out for like, what's everybody working on? Just kind of gaining inspiration from that. And then, I don't know, there are other ways to go about it, but I need something to actually challenge me. When I'm in a creative slump, I need criteria to work from. I need specifics. I need limitations to be able to actually go out and figure out what I can do with those limitations or within them to kind of break beyond what I thought that I was going to be comfortable doing and really go out of my comfort zone in that way. And that helps me out of it at first. And then usually once I'm out, then I've got that momentum to keep going.
Would you
Sorry,
mind?
That's me. My phone is going off. What?
Would you mind sharing that web address in the show notes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I don't do as much in regard to creative as Rebecca does because she's more into many different art disciplines than I am. But I do kind of get in a slump every now and again. And one of the things one of my cardinal rules is no watching other people's videos. Because I don't want to watch someone's video and get an idea and go out and actually do the same thing, right? I want to I want to get away from that. You know what I mean? My creativity needs to come from somewhere else. Generally, to get out of a creative slump, lots of cleaning in the shop, because then all of a sudden you'll see a piece of something that's half finished or something that could become something else, and then the creative juices start flowing. Or I just stay out of the shop, and you'll be driving down the road and I'll see something, or reading a magazine or watching a TV show, and things just sort of hit me. But to get out of a creative slump, don't force it, right? Just relax and let it happen.
All right.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to wait it out.
Yeah. I've been in a creative slump now for, 50-some years.
Honestly, I've been in one for a while, and it's hard to get dug out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And when you do the same thing over, we talked about this in a previous show, you do the same thing over and over, you fight an internal battle with, is this really beneficial to people? Because I feel like my videos, when I turn pins, it's the same thing. I turn a pin this week, I turn a pin next week. In my mind, it's the same thing, but people watch those and they glean things from them, whether it's a tip, a trick. They just enjoy watching it, and to them it really means something and it benefits them. But that's the creative slump you get into. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just, you get up in the morning, you eat breakfast, you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you get up, and it's like Groundhog Day over and over and over. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough battle to fight.
All right. Well, thank you.
What about you, Michael?
Like I said, I'm still stuck in one.
Oh, you're still stuck in one?
Yeah, this was an honest question from me.
Okay. Rebecca, did you say you had a few additional questions?
I do. Ooh, this one is another one from Joel Crawford. He asked the question, what mythical creature do you wish actually existed? And my question to him was, or what mythical creature do you hope actually does exist?
Bigfoot.
I've got two. I've got two for sure, and one of them is from my my own cultural heritage. I really hope that the Loch Ness Monster exists.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is unicorns. And did you know that unicorns are the national animal of Scotland?
I did not.
They definitely are.
I know a few Scottish people very well, and I would have thought that pink elephants were the national animal of Scotland because my good buddies can drink me under the table, and I don't drink often, but they like their whiskey. they're wonderful. One of the guys I worked with at work he's a Scotsman. And he's so awesome. That guy is great. He's just awesome. I've been trying to get him to wear his kilt to work, but he won't do it.
See, I've got a couple friends that actually wear their kilts while they would turn.
He has a kilt, and he wears it for certain ceremonies and certain things that I don't know because I don't know a great deal about the Scottish heritage, but but he will not wear it to work.
I'm trying to convince Henry to get his kilt, and he refuses for whatever reason. He won't do it.
I've seen Henry. I don't know that would be a good look for him.
What, a Vietnamese Scotsman?
Yeah.
You don't think that would work?
No, I don't.
I think he'd look great.
Actually, it's just his legs. He doesn't have the legs for it.
Oh, he's got great legs.
Okay, change of subject.
Oh, and that sporin would look so nice.
Oh. Next question, please.
Right.
Wait, did Michael answer?
No. I'm not really sure. Really? I'm not sure. Yeah, you're... The Goblin King? I'm not sure.
What are those? Gremlins, maybe? Gremlins, Michael?
Ooh, yeah, hey. Yeah, that's just what 2020 needs. Gremlins.
I think 2020's got gremlins. I think that's the problem. What are they? What are the on buildings? Gargoyles. Gargoyles would be cool. Right?
Gargoyles would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. What else we got question wise?
All right, Mike Laffey asks if you had to get rid of one woodworking technique forever, what would it be, and why would it be pocket holes?
Well, Rebecca, for me it would be pocket holes, and that's simply because I don't own a pocket hole jig, and I've never done a pocket hole, so yeah, I could do without them. Oh, Michael.
I own a pocket hole jig. I've used a pocket hole jig. I like pocket holes. They're nice.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't need to last 100 years, and it doesn't need to support 300 pounds, then I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not. You know.
I'm not going to be
best.
putting pocket holes on nice furniture. I'm
Right.
putting it on the shop furniture that I'm making.
Exactly. It's simple, quick, easy. I've got pocket holes. I made an aquarium stand for my 55-gallon tank that my turtle was in. And I made it several years ago, and it's lasted as many years as it needed to through, I think, 2 moves. And it's still fine. And it was still holding whatever was in the tank. It wasn't always full because it was for my turtle, but it was still holding probably like 30 gallons of water. That weighs a whole lot.
So if I had to give up something, it would be dominoes.
Dominoes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
The Festool dominoes. Yeah. No, because I don't need them. I got pocket holes.
Yeah. You can make your own. You can make your own tenons. You can make them really easily.
You don't even need tenons. If you just take one piece of wood and butt it against the other and drive a bunch of screws down through it, you're good to go, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Put a little caulk on there.
You act like we haven't done that.
On there. Yeah, paint a little bit of that paintable caulk on there to hide any of the gaps, and then you can just paint right over it, right?
Right?
Make everything out of pine plywood. Don't cover the edges.
Yeah. Oh no. Why would you want to do that? It's got such.
Don't sand it.
It's They call that character.
Ah. I always called it splinters.
Splinters. Ooh, yeah.
All right, I think we got time for one more.
Okay.
So make it a good one, Rebecca.
Is this one more going to be back from me again?
Yeah. Unless you want another would you rather question.
Well, I'm going back to my list of my either ors.
Oh, there you go. We could do a lightning round again with that.
You want to do one?
Sure.
Okay. Toast or eggs?
Toast.
Eggs.
Gotta have that protein, bud.
Yeah. Dog or cat?
Dog.
Dog!
Woof, woof.
Woof. Cardio or weights?
Look at me.
Yeah, come on, give us a break.
So, weights?
Cardio. Cardio is because it's what I need.
If I had to choose, it'd probably be cardio, but I don't. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to lie. I don't do cardio.
See, I get so bored doing cardio. It takes forever. I need to bring my Netflix while I cardio, and that's the only thing that'll keep me going. Otherwise, I'm just going out of my mind.
There's so many different aspects of cardio. You can dance, you can do there's all different things you can do. Versus weights, it doesn't really change much, right? Weights are cool, but if I had to choose, I'd go cardio.
See, here's the secret to cardio. You need to wait for about another 20 years. That way you can hit your target heart range quickly.
Oh.
Yeah, you get out of bed in the morning and you hit your target heart range. Mm-hmm. You're burning all those calories just by getting out of bed.
You could just sit on the couch and watch horror movies. You'll be there.
Yeah. As long as you pick something scary. Yeah.
You know what? This is a workout that I always enjoyed, was cutting firewood with my dad. We would get the cardio in, we'd get weightlifting in, because we were just lifting giant logs, tossing them into a trailer, just for hours on end. We would be sore to the point where we could barely move the following day. But I mean, it was one of the best workouts. It worked everything. Your legs, your core, your arms, everything. I actually enjoyed it because it felt like I was doing something productive, because we were. So if I could just find a task like that, which I've found because I've had to move this giant pile of bricks multiple times around my property to an area that's not in the way, it's great. If I can find something productive to do that's also a workout, that's what I want. See, I want to be one of these muscular, lean type people just from doing what they do on a daily basis without having to go to the gym. That's what I want. So no cardio, no weights, just doing something that also helps. If you guys have any suggestions for what that might be, where I won't have to buy anything new?
Not really, because if I get up and walk to the refrigerator, I'm down for 3 days. So I can't help you.
Makes me really concerned for what you're actually eating from the fridge.
I used to have a job working for a trailer manufacturer, and I would carry around 4x8 3/4 sheets of plywood by myself all night from the back of the trailer all the way up to the front to hang it. And yeah, I was pretty thin back then. Yeah, that was also when I was poor and partying all the time, so I would, work through the week, and my only meal would be like a bologna sandwich each day. Then the weekend come around, I'd go out and drink liquid bread all weekend, and then go back to work on Monday.
Yeah, that would
Not
do
the best
it.
diet and exercise plan in the world, but it worked.
Probably not.
No.
All right, moving on. Swimming or sunbathing?
Swimming.
Neither. I burn easily.
See, I can't swim, so my thing would be sunbathing, but I also don't like to be that hot, so sunbathing in the water. All right, high tech or low tech?
Low tech.
High tech.
Yeah, I'd have to go low tech. I like the simple, the non-complicated.
Mm-hmm. Unplug.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, new clothes or new phone? I think I would use both of them until they're literally falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not much on clothing. I'm not a dressy person, so I probably would have to choose a phone on this one. Although I just said I'm a low-tech person.
But if you get a low-tech, well, not a low-tech, a good phone that's easy to use. Still high-tech, but manageable.
Jitterbug. I'm going to get the Jitterbug.
So like an iPhone.
Yeah, that's the one I need.
Yeah, it's
really
the jitterbug of smartphones.
Okay, I don't remember if I asked this one last week. Work hard or play hard?
Work hard.
Yeah, I think work hard for me too.
I think so too. Jogging or hiking?
Hiking.
Yeah, it'd have to be hiking. You don't want to see this body jogging.
What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Laundry.
I'd have to go with dishes.
I don't know. This is a family podcast, so I won't get into anything, but I think laundry is worse.
Couch or recliner?
Recliner.
See, that's tough because I have a reclining couch.
Oh. Do you always recline it when you're in it?
Every time.
Then you've got to be recliner.
I think I got to go recliner. Yeah, I was going to say, just calculatus eliminatus puts me in a recliner.
See, I like the couch. I can have my dogs curled up on either side. It's great. Can't do that in a recliner if they're big dogs.
Yeah, my dogs are less than 13 pounds, so I can do that. My dogs are very picky, though. I don't know if your dogs are, but whoever has the blanket gets the dogs. They like somebody with a blanket for some reason. So my daughter's always cold. She's always got a little fleece blanket, and the dogs are always on her.
And I would never have the dogs.
I missed something.
What do you mean?
No, I couldn't hear what Bob was saying. There was some
Oh.
Okay.
fun
Michael,
robot voices going on.
Hit the reverse button, and we'll say it again.
Yeah.
It sounded just about like that, too. Ooh, pen or pencil?
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to say pen if it's a really smooth ink, but otherwise pencil.
I'm going to say I lean more towards a pencil if it's mechanical.
Yeah.
It's probably just pens for me. It's very rare that I reach for a pencil anymore.
Nice. One of these is phone or phablet?
Phone or phablet?
Phablet. Really, really big phone.
Yeah, I gotta say phone. I gotta say phone on that one. Yeah.
Ooh, movie at home or movie at the theater?
Theater.
Yeah, theater.
I like the theater, except for the sticky floors.
Yeah.
What
kind
theater
of theater are you going to?
Just about any of them.
Really?
Oh, and listening to my murder podcasts, the amount of creepy people that hide under the seats is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then I think more about the sticky floors. Like, how can you stand it under there? Your arms are all up in it. Your face might be close to it. I can't handle it.
Maybe they're sweating maple syrup, and it doesn't bother them.
And straight from the last question, horror movie or comedy movie? I would probably have to say comedy movie because I already listened and watched a lot of horror things.
I think comedy for me.
It would have to be horror because I never get to watch them anymore. My wife hates them.
See, everybody hates them here too. My mom was the only person I could ever watch them with, and now I don't live anywhere near her.
Can we just swap spouses on movie night?
Yes.
Okay.
Horror movies, horror movies. You know what my favorite horror series is? Well, is it horror or is it suspense? The Hannibal Lecter series.
Oh, that's incredible.
That'd be more suspense.
Suspense. I
Yeah.
love them, and I just got Henry into watching them.
The books, I have all 4 of the books. They're phenomenal. I love them.
Gosh, they're amazing.
Well,
He still hasn't
well done.
watched Hannibal Rising, but that's like not really part of it anymore.
I think that this is like the 40th anniversary or something of that, isn't it?
Is
We're
it?
close to. Yeah, because I saw a Jodie Foster interview where they were talking to her about the whole doing Hannibal, and it was a really good interview. But maybe it was 29. I think it was 2019. I think it was 2019 was the 40th anniversary.
That seems about right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So good.
don't
Okay,
know
do we want to
about
keep going with
40th.
these?
We're definitely over an hour.
Okay, sweater or hoodie?
Hoodie.
Well, yeah.
Hoodie. Yeah. TV shows or movie?
Movie.
Movie.
I'd have to go with TV shows. They're just easier to keep watching all day. I like it because there's nothing I have to stop for. It just keeps going. It's great. Okay, that was the last one that I can do right now.
Okay.
All right, fantastic. Michael, do
Do
you
you
want
wanna-
me to close this out, or do you want to close it out?
Oh, hey, you're host today. You close it out.
All right. Well, Michael, tell us where you can be found on social media.
Oh, I can be found all over the place at Lost River Pens on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and my website, lostriverpens.com.
Fantastic. Rebecca, where can you be found in the social realms?
Oh, well, on Facebook and YouTube as Rebecca DeGroot. A secondary YouTube that will eventually have a video up. Rebecca's up to something. Instagram. Instagram at Rebecca_DeGroot. My website, www.RebeccaDeGroot.com. And Etsy, if you want to find all of those things that I'm actually willing to part with, RebeccaDeGrootStudio. And you have to actually go in, type that in the Etsy. It'll automatically tell you that it can't find it, but then it'll give you RebeccaDeGrootStudio as the secondary option to what you just typed. Exact same thing. It's stupid. But you can find all those things on Etsy.com, RebeccaDeGrootStudio.
Thank you, Rebecca. You can find me, Bob Blandford, on Instagram and YouTube at RJBWoodTurner, or you can find my vlog channel on YouTube at WhatchaDoinBob. Rebecca, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Dad joke.
Oh, yeah, I was getting ready to introduce the dad jokes. I was just getting through the social media. Rebecca, you are so excited. We're going to let you kick off the dad jokes tonight.
Here we go.
I've heard that mountains aren't that funny. They're hill areas.
Oh.
They're
Get it? They're
hilarious. Yeah. The best part is when they explain it. Get it?
Get it? Get it?
That makes the joke better. Michael, would you like to grace us with a dad joke tonight?
What did 50 Cent do when he was hungry?
What?
58.
58. That's good. I like that. All right, I've got one for you. Out of all the inventions in the last 100 years, the dry erase board is probably the most remarkable. I didn't say it was good. Does anybody have any listener jokes they'd like to share?
I don't have any.
Okay. Well, Rebecca?
I don't have any this week.
All right. I'm sorry to hear that. We would love to hear your dad jokes. Please send those to ymtpodcast.com and
Makers at
Get 'em on the
YMT.
makers. See, I'm not as good a host as Michael, and he will be back next week, guaranteed. But please send your dad jokes to makers at ymtpodcast.com. And that's a wrap. Everybody have a great evening.